So we're back after our painting, and what we're going to do now is we're going to apply our Brenco guitars decal, and because we don't have a headstock to put it on, and it's not going to fit really anywhere on the neck at all, we're going to put it on the body, and we're going to put it just here where the neck heel is. It's just kind of the easiest place to put it really, kind of. So we have our little Brenco guitars decal here, and we've got some warm water here, and we just have tweezers, and we've got some micro set decal setting solution. A lot of guys who make model aircrafts and stuff would recognise this. We're just using it to soften the decal and kind of soften the area as well to get it to bond a bit better. And the reason for all the noise in the background is because we've got several heaters going. Number one, because it's freezing, and two, because we're going to be spraying our lacquer later on today, and we just need to try and get the air warmed up for that. And I think I may have said it as well about when we were painting it as well, that the lacquer can actually start to dry before it even hits the body if the air is too cold. So we have a couple of heaters going. We've got the can itself warming up as well, so we're going to get our decal done and then move on to lacquering. So all we're going to do here is we're going to take our decal and we just put it in this water here, and this water here is just kind of lukewarm, and we just let it soften up, and once we see it start to pull away from the backing paper, then we'll move it into place and try and dab it down and get it stuck. So we'll move on to that now. So we're just leaving this in here for a few seconds just to soften up the backing paper until you see the decal starts to move. So that's our decal in place now, and we're just going to give that a few minutes to dry in and that, and we'll just do some more dabbing down to make sure it's perfectly stuck, and we're going to move on to our lacquering after that. So we're just moving on to our lacquering now, and we're using a 2K clear catalyzed lacquer, and the paint itself has come out slightly textured. I think it's due to the bad weather, and maybe the paint itself does have some texture in it. But it means that the lacquer is going to come out slightly bumpy and textured as well. So when we're finished lacquering, we're not going to wet sand it flat and try and get it up to a high gloss. We're just going to use the lacquer as protection for the paint. So we're going to move on with the lacquering now, and then after that's done, we should be ready to start putting the instrument back together. So here we are now, ready for our final assembly. We've got the body, it's been painted, and we've put our lacquer onto it, and it's nice and hard and tough now. We've got our neck ready, and then we've got all our hardware and other pieces, all our electronics, strap buttons, our bridge, our backplate, pickups, etc. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to start to get all this stuff on. First, what we're going to do is we're just going to go back over all of the holes we have, like the holes for the neck bolts, the holes for holding on the pickups and the controls and that, and we're just going to use a reamer or a small drill bit and just open them up again, because a lot of them have filled up with paint and the clear coat going on. So we're just going to open them up again, and then we'll just start attaching all our hardware. So we've just taken a drill bit and we've just reopened some of these holes here and just made sure there was space for all our parts to go back in, so we can just check that the pots and stuff will fit in from the other side, and we did the same with the switch and all our bits and pieces for our pickups and that. And on the back as well, we just opened up these holes here for our ferrules that will hold in the neck bolts. So the next thing we're going to do is just check that our neck is going to fit back in again. As we said, we've got some build up on the inside here from lacquer and paint and that, so we'll just check if our neck will go back in, and it seems to be okay so far. It's a nice snug fit now. So as I said, that's our neck in. It's a nice snug fit all around. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the neck back out, and we'll start to do all our hardware and run our wires through for our electrics. And we're just securing our bridge pickup in place now. So we're just about to start wiring up our electronics, and because our cavity here is so small, we've just copied it onto a piece of hardboard here, and we've put in our pots and our switch, and we're going to do the bulk of our wiring and soldering outside of the instrument, just so it's not in that fiddly little cavity. So we're just going to breeze through this really quickly. It's pretty standard wiring, one humbucker, one single coil. We've got our volume, 3-way toggle switch, and a tone. So we're just going to wire this up quickly and get everything into the guitar then. So we've gone ahead and installed all our electronics, and looking back, definitely if I was to do this again, I would use a larger cavity. And this size, as we said, is only the size of a P90 pickup, and we could have extended it a bit more in every direction, and just because it was very cramped trying to do all this, and with the barrel jack going in as well, it's all very cramped. But it is in and everything's working. And off camera, we've reinstalled the neck, and we've put on our strap buttons, and we've reinstalled the bridge. And this all happened over the festive period, so a lot of it didn't get filmed. So we just have to put our knobs on now, and we're going to string it up, and we should be almost complete. Off camera again, we're going to give it a setup, do all our action intonation, and probably some fretwork as well on that. But we're just going to get it strung up now and fully assembled, so we can just have the final guitar ready to play. So apologies for the noise, it's absolutely lashing rain outside. But the guitar is finally assembled now. We've got our strings on, we put in our tremolo arm and our control knobs there. Stringing this up isn't easy. It's relatively straightforward but very fiddly, and you have to use 2 different types of Allen keys and stuff. So it's, again, not really straightforward, or not something, you know, if you weren't very experienced, that'd be easy to do. We haven't done a setup yet, so the action intonation and all that still needs to be taken care of, and we've some fretwork to do on that. But as an instrument, it does function at the moment. Setting up the tremolo as well takes quite a bit of time. There's a clip underneath that holds the tremolo in place. You can see it just here, and you kind of have to hold that in, and you're adjusting the string tension. And if you can just make out this knob here, how much of the paint is worn off, and this is supposed to be adjustable by tone. It's definitely not. I had to use the pliers on it and that just to get it, to get the adjustment on it. We've put in our strap locks as well here on the end and on the upper horn here. So as a final thoughts on it, as a kit, it's not bad kind of, but it isn't very straightforward, as I said, all through it. There's a lot of stuff here that a beginner probably wouldn't be able to do. I know they market these things as you know, if you just have a drill and a screwdriver, you can put one together in your bedroom or something. I definitely don't think that's the case with this. And when it comes to like paint and finish as well, that's another different area altogether. You know, if you were just using spray cans and stuff as well, you know, like I did. But I've some experience with it, so it wasn't too bad for me. But definitely not something you do at home if you wanted to get a particular type of result. As I said, I converted this from right-handed to left-handed. That was a totally other area and a different skill set altogether, and not something most people would be doing. But final thoughts, again, as I say, it's a nice looking guitar, nice interesting kit. Everything about it screams kind of that it is cheap. As I said, like this whole bridge unit, it functions and what it does, but all the screws and adjustments all, you know, don't have a great amount of tolerances on them. Like if you're putting in an Allen key, you can feel it moving slightly before it actually engages in that. The pickups aren't great. I might think about upgrading them in time, we'll see. I use my own electronics then for a volume, tone and 3-way switch. Again, we said with the headstock cap as well, it's again feels really cheap kind of, and that I had to do a lot of adjustment on it to get it working for left-handed. But we've got it together now functioning, so we're going to take it inside to the studio and just play through it a little bit, hear some sounds. I haven't actually plugged it in myself yet, so we don't know. But not recommended for beginners is what I'd say. Fun little project for myself. I was doing this in between other tasks and that. But it came out nice, and I'll probably end up using this just for studio sessions and stuff like that, because it's nice and light. So we'll take her inside for a playthrough, and we'll see how she sounds. So there you have it. That's the mystery box guitar, converted from right-handed to left-hand, completely put together, luminous green paint job, and finished and playing away.